Welcome. Have you ever just stopped and considered that maybe everything around you,
Hmm.
the trees, the air, even you yourself, might all be connected by some kind of unseen force? And what if maybe ancient wisdom and modern science actually see eye to eye on this?
Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at a really interesting source called the magic of energy, an ancient and modern view. And our goal really is to unpack this concept of energy, the source calls it, kamio. We want to see how this one idea kind of bridges the gap between old philosophies and what science tells us today. It might offer a completely fresh perspective.
Okay, right. Let's unpack that. So the source kicks off with a pretty bold statement, doesn't it? It basically says everything, people, animals, air, mountains, has this.
Exactly. It's described as this vibrating power, not
Right.
just energy in a vague sense. It's supposedly there in atoms, in our feelings, even things like Ayurveda, and just the environment generally.
So like the basic building block of everything.
That seems to be the idea presented, yes. That Kampaninano is this fundamental fabric of reality. And what's really fascinating is how far back this goes in ancient thinking.
Oh, right. You mentioned ancient philosophies.
Yes, particularly ancient Indian scriptures. The source specifically brings up Chakra, the energy centers in the body.
Precisely. Those are seen as key points for this energy flow. And also,
Yeah,
Dale
exactly,
Moore,
work right.
exactly, conscious breathing techniques
Yeah.
aimed at controlling this life force, this queer. These aren't just, abstract thoughts in these traditions. They're practical systems.
Practical how?
Well, take pranayama. The deliberate breathing is understood as a way to actually enhance and balance the kakavasula within you. And interestingly, modern science does look at how controlled breathing affects things like our nervous system, oxygen levels, even brain activity. There are parallels being drawn. Okay, so we have this deep ancient view of Wanta as a vital life force with practices to manage it. That makes sense from a philosophical or spiritual standpoint. But how does the source connect this to modern science? Does it give concrete examples?
It does, and that's really the core of its argument, this idea of convergence. It suggests that scientific concepts we talk about today aren't separate things, but actually aspects of the very same omic.
Okay, like what?
Well, for instance, electromagnetic fields. Science describes them governing all sorts of interactions, light, radio waves. The source presents this pervasive force as one manifestation of wine.
Ah, I see. So mapping a modern concept onto the ancient idea.
In a way, yes. Or suggesting they're describing the same underlying thing from different perspectives. It also
Mm.
mentions the energy in sound waves, something we can measure. Or the heat from light. These are all framed as different expressions of that single, universal, vibrating energy principle, the Hades Citadel.
So it's less about science proving ancient texts literally.
Exactly. It's more about seeing resonance. Different ways of knowing, different languages, maybe pointing towards a similar fundamental truth about reality being energetic at its core.
Wow, that's quite a convergence to think about, isn't it? The idea that ancient intuition and modern physics might be describing the same fundamental reality. So, okay, bringing it back to the listener, what does this mean for you? For how you experience the world?
Well, consider this proposition. If everything truly is a manifestation of this vibrating panadutes from your own thoughts and emotions to, the planet itself, and if, as the source suggests, both ancient traditions and modern science point to this, how might that change things?
Change how you see yourself.
Perhaps. How you perceive your connection to everything else. Could seeing yourself as sort of a dynamic field of energy change how you approach your well-being, your potential, even your relationships?
It definitely gives you something different to think about as you go about your day.
Mhm.
We really hope this exploration of Agdride has offered you a fresh, maybe more interconnected way of looking at things.